Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. With me, Dave, Dirtbag Dave. What's up? Week 2 of the 2022 season. We're here.
No, no, we're not here. Football hasn't started yet. It starts tomorrow.
What
It's
do you
not
mean?
here yet. I
There's
mean, we're
training.
here.
We have
We're
ACLs
here.
popping. We have
Yeah,
um,
that's true.
thumbs being
Unfortunately,
broken. We have,
this
we
is the worst
have,
time of the year. This is actually the worst time of the year.
yes.
It's 100% the worst time. Every time I get an update, I'm assuming someone's out for the year. A sleeper update pops on my phone. I'm like, oh, who's out for the year now? So that's all that matters because I don't care about any good news. There's no good news only coming out now. Only bad news happens right now.
No, yeah, that's true. There's bad news, which is like the ACLs, which we'll get to. And then there's hype news, which is Terrace Marshall is showing out again, or
Yeah, I
the
don't I don't listen to that stuff at all. At all. I
Trey
listen
Sermon
I
is
I hope
showing out.
everyone stays healthy and I don't care about all of the good news. So
Yeah, I don't
it is
care
what
about
it
all
is.
the hype news. But before we get started, you can find us on Twitter, Josh Kimmel OUS at Viking Dave. We're part of the state at Viking Dave 18. I don't know your name anymore. You have so many accounts.
I only have one. What are you talking about?
You had two. You got your first one got banned a while ago, so you're
That
on
was a
your
long time
second.
ago.
Yeah, that was years ago. And we're gonna be bringing up hot takes today, which I did my research and I realized my takes aren't that hot, but
They're
You'll
okay.
see. You'll see. You'll see when we get there. We do have a guest coming on, Marco Balsamo. He's a little late today, but he will show up once we get to the hot take segment. But we're gonna
We
start off
hope, we
with
hope, we
we
hope.
hope, we hope, we hope. Last I heard was he'll be here. But I
Soon.
want to start off with some trivia. It's gonna be another Who Am I? I
Let's
know
hear it.
you hate
Let's
these.
hear
I
it.
know,
Let's
I
hear
know,
it.
I know, I know.
Let's talk
Well,
about injuries instead. You want to try to save the tree for him?
you want to do injuries first and all the news stuff, and
Yeah, let's do
we can
that.
do
And then
that.
we'll
All
see
right.
we'll see we'll see if he hops on soon.
We'll see if he hops on soon. All right. The first thing that is kind of major, we'll get to it right away. I guess Deshaun Watson suspended for 6 games. The NFL is appealing
It's
it.
already been appealed.
We all knew this was happening. I
Yeah.
brought this up earlier in the week on a different show, the Beer and Sports Podcast, with my buddy Josh Wingate, who's in the chat. What's up, Josh? You can't see that.
He's fucking trash. What a bum. That's what he gets for always talking shit about me whenever I can't respond. So
he defends you more than anything. But
I know he's cool.
it's well, I brought it up with him. It's bad that he got suspended for 6 games and there are people defending him. And I'm not saying that you're defending him. I'm not saying that anyone's defending him. But what I'm trying to say is I knew this would get appealed. There's going to be more games. I don't think 6 is the final suspension. I never thought it was.
First of all,
When
I
you
was I've never defended him as a person.
I'm not
I'm
saying he
defending
is.
people are pissed at the NFL. Like the NFL should have put him in jail. That's not their job. Like, and I get from what I hear, everyone's like, so this is what I said on Twitter was like, why is everyone pissed at the NFL like they did something wrong? And then everything was, well, Ridley gets a year for gambling, and this guy did this for this. And okay, like yes, those don't really add up. I understand that, but I was listening to another podcast, and they said, and it makes sense. I forget it was a pretty popular podcast. Maybe it was Florio or somebody like big, and they were talking about how the gambling, like you can't gamble, like that's you can't have guys gambling in the sport, like that's could be cost the integrity of your league. So like you have to like be stiff with that. The PEDs again, it's like cheating. So like you can't have these guys doing those things. Those are gonna be like mandatory. This is not saying he did anything, okay, but this is he wasn't convicted of a crime. We know he probably did something, whatever. But the fact is, this is going to like people's personal lives, which is what it is. But like you can't compare. It's like it's different. I don't know. Listen, the guy's probably not a good guy. I'm not trying to defend him and say that, but people are pissed at the NFL like they like should throw the guy in jail. Like that's not their job. But it doesn't matter. He's going to get more games, I'm sure. Probably at least 8. I heard they're going for like a year minimum. I guess we'll see.
The anger, which I'm not angry at the NFL. I'm not angry at all at the NFL. I think that they want him suspended longer. It's bad look for the league. I'm more angry at the courts and the system and how it works. And
Oh, of
I
course this is
just
fucked. We didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That's what I'm more angry about. I would like it if Watson never played again, only because I honestly don't care about him as a person, and I think he's a bad person. And why should he? It's hard to say why should he work somewhere, because if you do this at your job, you're not getting fired, but you're not making millions and millions and millions of dollars. You're not in the public eye. I have a personal story where I tried to get a school teacher fired because of things he did. And guess what? He didn't get fired, but guess what?
Yeah.
He really, really, really hurt some people in my family. So, just because somebody does something horrible doesn't mean it should cost your job. But he should be punished, and I think he was,
Yeah,
but
of
I don't
course.
know.
But and that was a thing that was like Michael Vick. Like, yeah, what he did was terrible, but then he like literally went to prison and got better. Like, I think sounds like when he came back, he said all the right things, and people still wanted to like crucify the guy. It's like, okay, if we're gonna do this to him, then you have to do this to every single person that's ever like walked the planet. And then, first of all, get off your high horse, people. Like, I'm not saying you're out there hanging dogs and doing like fucking dog fighting, but stop act. The people that piss me off are the ones that act like their life is the best and like the perfect and like you've never done anything wrong. Um, just shut up. Like, just shut up.
But this is beyond doing something wrong. You
No, no,
understand that.
I'm not comparing like a regular. I'm talking about like way like minor stuff. People get pissed about minor stuff too. It's like, dude, calm down. Like it's not that serious. Yes, this is serious. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like in life, like people need to calm down in general. Deshaun Watson's a scumbag. He's gonna play football again, whether we like it or not, whether it's this year, next year, or the year after that, because that's what happens. Good players get paid money. He's gonna come back. If you're not good, if this was fucking some third string quarterback, the guy would have been cut and he would never be heard from again. Like that's just a
It's
fact. That's life.
it's people forget, and I'm not comparing because this was like more women than normal, but Mike Tyson accused. He
Kobe
admitted it.
Bryant.
I've already brought up Kobe, and I got slammed for that. People fucking love that guy, and so did I. I think he's my
Yeah,
favorite basketball player of all time. But yet, same thing. But people are like, well,
exactly.
it's so many women. It doesn't matter if it's one woman
Yeah, why does it
or
matter
if
if
it's
it's one or
100.
fucking 50? It doesn't matter.
Many
The,
people have recovered from this, and they forget about it somehow, and then life moves on.
it's because
It's
it's
just
not
what
their
are we
favorite player and his
and
guy's
it's
not on their team. And I
and it's
guarantee
what
you,
are we
Browns
angry about
fans
today?
today, oh yeah, he's 100%. That's a fact.
What
So,
are we mad
and,
about today? Something could Let's just say a story breaks on Derek Jeter or somebody, I don't know, someone in the public eye who's popular. They'll be mad about him, and Watson will be pushed back. It's just, what are we mad about today? We are
I know,
officially running out of. I'm not saying this isn't a problem. This is, but everyone just wants to rush a
of
school
course.
shooting. A school shooting. Everyone's mad for a day. Then guess what? Tomorrow
Yeah,
people forget it. It's just
it's
crazy how
sickening.
we just
Yeah.
move on.
That's because it's unfortunate. You're right. You're 100% right. But that's how life is. Like you have to just like go to the next thing because otherwise you just be consumed with like terrible things like that. You can't live like that.
Now, as far as fantasy, and because we are a fantasy football show, right now he's only 6 games. Now we have to talk about where would we draft him in a league. Now in Scott Fishbowl, you drafted him probably earlier than almost anybody.
I did seventh round.
I roster him in about 48% of my underdog leagues. I've been getting him everywhere, just snatching him up in the 14th, 15th round like clockwork.
Yeah.
Um, Now that we know for a fact that at 6 games, it can get obviously
Well,
more.
that's the thing
Where
is we don't know for if I knew it was going to be 6 games they were going into the season, I would love to take him as my backup quarterback. I don't know where though, because it also depends on like this the Scott Fish Bowl, like you mentioned, that's a super flex league. So if we knew he's not playing, like if we knew he's playing all year, he's going to what like first round, second round at the latest, and I got him in the
Mhm.
seventh, knowing he's going to miss some games. In a one QB league, it's a lot different. If it's only six, okay, I'll wait on a quarterback, get someone, and then take Watson, knowing I'm getting a top 5 to 8 guy when he comes back. But now with this uncertainty, like if you're drafted like this weekend or next weekend, which some people are, I keep seeing people on Twitter saying they're having their home leagues already. I'm like, that's early. It's freaking August. It just turned August. Ours is in like a month or like 3.5 weeks. Either way, um, I'll be honest. I don't know what to do now with this looming because I'm watching NFL Network now, and a few minutes ago I saw them talking about because he fucking whatever. What's it called? Where he basically he's taken it to the Supreme Court. So now they're saying that it could be like one of those things where it drags on, where he gets to start the season, and they got to wait and see how far down the line this goes. So there's a lot of uncertainty with him. It's hard to say where to take him right now. I don't know what's. I can't give you an answer because I don't know until I know more.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that because this story I guarantee we'll talk about it next week and the week after and the week after. So
Yeah.
let's move on to some sad news as a player has torn his ACL. The first one, maybe not the first one, but the first fantasy player that I can think of that tore his ACL in training camp already. Tim Patrick. People were excited for Tim Patrick.
They were way too hyped up about this guy.
People were
First of all,
excited though.
they were fucking over the top about this guy. Like, calm down, people.
Well, this is a good thing. It's going to save a lot of people because people were drafting him.
I wanted him to take him in like the 10th round or whatever. Like, I wish.
There's going to be more, and that's the sad thing. It's August 3rd, and we have 4 more weeks to go, and we just need players to stay healthy, man. That's all we need. And think about it this time. I think this time last year we lost Akers and Dobbins.
I know.
We haven't lost a super stud yet.
Well, I think Akers went out around this time, or right before the preseason. When Dobbins went out in like the last preseason game, because I remember we were drafting that weekend, and like the news that came out like the day before, and it was like he's probably out for the season. People were drafting him because there was like, maybe he'll miss 8 or 10 weeks. They weren't for sure. So yeah, it sucks. I hope there's no big injuries, but it's gonna happen. It happens every year. That's what sucks about it.
Now, is this going to impact you drafting? I know you because you think you're just an elitist. You only take the top of the top somehow. Every round, you just take top of the top.
It's always a steal.
So I'm not gonna, should I even ask? Like, are you even going to bother with KJ Hamler? Are you even going to bother with?
No, he guy's a waste. Why would you draft him?
You're so dumb. You're so dumb. He's gonna put up numbers. He's gonna be average.
No, he's not.
Yes,
no, he's not. He's gonna. You know what he's gonna be? He's gonna have like 2 big weeks because he'll catch like a bomb or 2, and then people are gonna get on him. Unless Judy or Sutton gets hurt, he's not gonna be relevant. Not for fantasy. Why would you want that guy on your team? Unless you're playing best ball. If you're in best ball, sure, like take him for those 2 big weeks. That's it. That's the only thing he's gonna give you. You're not gonna get lucky enough to pick that week that he starts.
You know what I think this is? I think your problem. I think you have a problem, and your problem is
what's my problem? Tell me.
No, and this is gonna make sense, and you're gonna love it because it makes total sense. I've been thinking about it for a while. You are in so many dynasty leagues. We're in so many dynasty leagues where your team specifically, are just massively overloaded with studs. Massively. Like,
not every one of them.
Most of them. The majority of them. Like, you're really good at it. You know how to work the system. So you're used to looking at all your rosters like, oh, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here.
That's not true.
But hold on. But you don't look at your redraft teams much because it's only here for 17, 18 weeks. So year round, you're like, look at this stud. Look at this stud.
Okay.
So you're not used to rostering these other guys.
I
but
understand.
you need to. People listen to the show. People watch the show for help. They don't need to help. Oh, Justin Jefferson's good.
Listen,
what should I do here?
I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But KJ Hamler is not helping you in redraft. He's not.
You don't know that.
How? How is he? Unless Judy or Sutton gets hurt, how is he going to help you?
Is Judy?
When has the number 3 receiver on the team ever, except for fucking Brandon Stokely, the other Colts one, or the Cardinals when they had the 3,000-yard receivers? Like, when is the number 3 receiver ever helping you in your fantasy league? Ever?
Antonio Brown last year.
Tell me.
Crushed it.
Okay, you know what? You're right. I'll give you that one. So you made one more example. 3 example in NFL history.
Gabe Davis last year, apparently.
Oh, you mean in the NFL playoffs? He didn't help you in your fantasy league.
I don't know. Tyler Boyd.
He was pretty average at best.
He's startable.
Like, very okay.
In deeper leagues, in most leagues now are 3 receivers and like 2 flexes. Like you're going to be.
He's not going to be relevant enough. Take him if you want. You know what? I take that back. He's going to be awesome. You should take him as a sleeper in like the 8th round before I just
you do the show for the total opposite reason. You're like, you do a mind fuck with all the people.
I'm trying to explain to you that don't take him, but you won't listen to me. So
the last piece of news for training camp, because we want to keep the show a tight 45, as we say. Irv Smith, thumb injury. Your guy, like, he just can't say it. Last year he was a breakout stud. This year, you're all in on him. You're buying him in Dynasty. And all of a sudden, I'm reading today, thumb surgery. Not out for week 1, but
no.
You kind of need
the
that
hope
to catch
is,
the football.
Yes, but at least he can run, so it's not like a knee injury or anything. Hopefully he can stay like in shape and all that good stuff. and it is a thumb, so that's not good. But if he's back for week 1 and he's still in shape, then he can still hopefully hop right back in and be okay. So
All right. Well, hey, that's all the news. We're gonna go into trivia because Marco's still not here, and that's okay
fuck Marco.
because yeah, I was gonna say that, but we had a comment
I'll
from the
say it.
listeners asking stop cussing so much.
I
I'm
can't
just
make any
saying.
promises. I can't make any promises. Do we have a beat button? Can you beat me every now and
Yeah, I'll hit it in post. I'll hit it in
then?
post.
Wait, first of all, who is telling me to stop cussing?
Don't
That's
worry
what I
about it.
want
I
to
get
know.
DMs. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I want to know who's telling me to stop cussing.
Okay. This is a who am I trivia. So this one's pretty simple. This one I didn't I think you're gonna nail it on
Wait, is it
the
the one you asked us earlier?
no, that was no. Because why
Okay.
would I give you my trivia? All right, so
That's
for
why I
who
was
am
like,
I?
that's way too easy.
My first clue is I have never finished outside the top 10 ever at my position
Damn, that's pretty good.
in fantasy football.
Uh-huh.
You have no guesses?
No, I'm not gonna guess that. It could be anybody.
I have the most fantasy points by a quarterback in the first 2 seasons of my
My
career
first guess
was
was a quarterback. I will say that, but go ahead, because it had to be a quarterback.
thanks for interrupting my
I'm just
my
saying I knew it was gonna be a quarterback. Go ahead.
All
Sorry.
right. I have the most fantasy points by a quarterback in the first 2 seasons ever with 713.6, passing Cam Newton, who had it at 693.8 points.
Herbert.
Yeah, it's Justin Herbert.
Nailed it. That was easy.
That's
That was
I know,
easy.
I know. I
That
told you it
second
was gonna be
guess was
easy.
too easy.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna give you. I'm 15 and 17 as a starter at quarterback, which I
I knew
wouldn't.
it was a quarterback when you said he was top 10 every year. And then once you said he had so many points, I'm like, the guy's like, for one, there's not that many people. Because at first I was going to say Mahomes. I'm like, wait, no, because he didn't start week 1 or season 1. And I'm like, oh, it's gotta be Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at a bunch of stats today on quarterbacks. I'm like, damn, that dude has a lot of rushing touchdowns that I didn't think about, and I
He's
wanted to
so
bring him up.
good.
I wanted to bring him up because what do you think if you had to put a number on it? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Give me a number on how confident you are he would finish as the quarterback 1 this year, knowing that there's a lot of studs in the AFC.
Yeah,
Knowing
there
that,
are.
the,
3.
wait, you don't
3.
think you think he has a 30%? I'm just doing by percentages. 30 to
Uh-huh.
3, 30% chance to be
The
the
QB1
quarterback 1.
overall?
Yeah.
That's honestly, I think that's high, honestly. Probably.
You don't think he has a
I
chance to
like
beat
him.
out these
I
guys?
think no, I think he has a chance, but you're telling me like realistically, I think Josh Allen's better. I still like Mahomes. I don't know if I like him better, but it's close. Lamar's back. Like if I'm gonna put Herbert or the field, I'm probably gonna take the field just because there's so many good ones. That's all. That's all. That has nothing to do with Herbert. He's in one of my top 5, probably top 3, but he's in the 3 to 5 range for me. So I love him. I just
So,
don't. If you're saying him or everyone else, I'm just gonna take everyone else.
yeah, the thing I like about Justin Herbert, specifically, is his rushing ability. He doesn't rush a lot, of course, but he could still reach that 300 yards of for rushing that you want from a quarterback. That's kind of like the benchmark you want for a quarterback rushing yardage. He still gets a lot of rushing touchdowns. He has 8 in his career. It's 4 a year. That's pretty good for a quarterback. You know,
That's
most of
really
them
good.
don't
That's
even.
solid.
Yeah, so Justin Herbert, I think, has a chance if he's super efficient. It's going to be hard to beat out Josh Allen, but I think
That's what I'm saying. Like I love him.
I give it a 7. I give it a
No
7.
way.
Yeah,
There's no
I think
way. You
well
can't say that. That's too
I
high.
have him projected as the MVP of the year of the whole season. I have
I
him.
mean, okay. I mean, listen, I love him. And I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibilities. I just think if you're gonna give me Herbert or you're gonna give me everyone else, including Josh Allen, who I have number 1, I'm gonna take everyone else. But I love Herbert, so
You love Herbert.
I
Well, how
love him.
about this? I'll do another one for you since we're waiting on Marco as well, and we're not going to ask this question, but it came up today in our friends group, our little group chat. Christian McCaffrey. What do you think the consensus casual player is? Like their thought on Christian McCaffrey, because we're in this
I
world
think we know that after our chat today what the casual players are. They're
we're in
scared
this
of them.
world where we're on Twitter every day and we see Twitter analysis guys every single day talking this, making statements, doing that. Did your lights just go out?
Yeah.
Did a
I don't know
UFO?
what just happened.
Did you lose power?
No, because the other lights are on. What the heck happened? I have no idea.
Sometimes the light bulb just burns out, Dave, and people think that
No, because my
CMC's
TV
light
went off
bulb.
too.
Thanks for ruining my segue, but my awesome going back to the topic where some people think that CMC's light bulb is burnt out, and that's what the casual fan does. We are in a group chat where most of them, the majority of them, think that CMC is not the 101, not the 102. He's not even good enough to be in the top 5 being picked.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
I think that's a mistake, and I don't think that's true. I think that our little group of friends, are idiots. Seriously,
Oh, they
no
are
offense,
for
guys.
sure. No, they are.
Because his ADP is up there with Jonathan Taylor at 1 and 2. Every draft I see in underdog is usually CMC, Jonathan Taylor, CMC. Straight up, Dave. Are you?
I had to go flip a breaker. Something went on. I don't know what happened. What do you listen? This is live reality. What do you tell you?
This is live reality.
This is live TV right here. I had to flip the breaker. All right, we're good. I'm back.
We're good. We're back. You know who else is back? Because I don't have to kill more time. Our guest is in the
this
background.
Bitch. I mean, this guy.
This guy. Dave, stop cussing.
That's
Marco Balsamo, in the depths of what are you in the
He's with AT&T. AT&T's here. He's back.
Like that? Hello? How can I support you guys? We got some stuff in the background.
I love it. Oh my god, this is the best.
Hey Marco, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. We were just talking about CMC. We were just talking about CMC and the casual players and how they view him. And we just had a huge argument in our group chat about.
Keep going.
We just had this huge argument about how he shouldn't be the 101. He should be the 101. He's always hurt. Do you want to take the risk? So now that you're here, would you rather take that risk at 101, knowing you have the best player of all time, or just play it safe and hope you just hope Jonathan Taylor plays 17 games again. He has 1,000 red zone touches, and he just is super efficient.
Listen, what I'll say is, it's going to set how you draft the rest of the time. If you're taking JT, then you're taking safety, and the rest of your draft should be more aggressive. If you're taking CMC, then you're taking major risk, and you might need to take some safe plays. So it could go either way. I'm probably, if I have the 1-1, I'm going all fucking for it. It's probably still CMC to me. I know it's ridiculous.
Yes.
I know, but I think
our friends are like, no, you wouldn't do that. And we're like, yeah, we actually would.
It is. If I have the 1-1, I mean, I'm going for that's the only point of having the 1-1. Otherwise, there's no difference between anybody else in the first round.
So this is my opinion. This is what I'll say about it. Taylor's a safe pick. To me, he's like a top 5 running back. Unless like he gets hurt, he's pretty safe. He's gonna give you great numbers every week, and that's fine. And if you've been burned by CMC before, and you want to take Taylor, I don't have an issue with that. But when you take CMC, he wins leagues. And if you have him, which is why people last year who had kept him all year long, because they were hoping if they make the playoffs and I got CMC on my roster, I'm going to win. And if you have CMC on your team in the playoffs, let's fucking go. Like, that's all I'm saying. The guy gets you 30 points like every single week. And yeah, you got a risk of injury. I get that. But it's not like, I mean, they were, I don't know. The difference between some, yes, well, no,
he has a higher risk of injury. Don't get me wrong, but anybody can get hurt, but not anybody can give you what he can give you. That's
exactly. That's a great I'll say that. So, and I said the difference between guys like him and the guy in our chat said, like, what about him, like, versus Saquon? And I will say I still like Saquon, but fuck him. 1, 2. The difference is every time CMC plays, he's getting like 30 points, and I'll admit, like Josh has said this for last 2 years. When he plays, he's getting you 30 plus points, like every fucking week. Saquon, you can blame the offense, you can blame the fucking O-line. I don't care what you blame. He's been pretty fucking average over the last 2 years. And that's the difference. CMC, when he plays, he's going to crush it.
All right, no Saquon here in front of me ever. But
no, I like him as a player. I just don't like the team.
Yeah, even as the biggest Saquon lover, yeah, that sounds odd, but we're gonna go with that. Even as the biggest Saquon lover, I still CMC is just a bigger guarantee to give you those monster games every time he plays. And if that's all I'm banking for is the guy to have to fucking play, then whatever. Roll the dice on it. Dynasty different, but like one season redraft, fuck it. Like roll the dice.
I agree.
Hey, we're gonna go into the hot takes right about now. Marco,
What happened to trivia? Oh, we already did trivia. I forgot
we did
that.
trivia.
We waited too long.
Trivia without me?
Yeah, I tried to wait.
That's bullshit, Josh. Come on, dude.
Hey, Marco, fix your mic, and then I'll do trivia for you as well because you're not
What's wrong with
connected
my
to
mic?
It's like you're talking in a submarine because you're talking out of your computer.
Oh
I need you to
yeah,
fix
I
that.
noticed that too.
But we're gonna get the hot takes while you get that situated, and then we'll redo trivia for you at the end of the show. Okay, how about that? For all the people
Yeah,
that
I'll
are
see if you
tuning
can get
in,
it like I did.
Yeah,
You guys let me talk that whole time with my mic being the camera. I mean, why wouldn't you have said something earlier?
I texted you. I tried to do it privately.
How about now?
I noticed. Oh gosh.
There we go.
Now it's my mic.
We had 4 viewers. We had 4 viewers before you came on. As soon as you came on, I swear to God, they all dropped. Yes, we have 1. So thanks a lot for that.
Call them up. Let them all know. It's better now.
So much better. All right, so let's get into the hot takes. Dave does not have any. Well, he says he has 1, but he didn't reveal it.
I'm not gonna say it. Y'all do your hot takes, and I'll just tell you how terrible they are.
And Josh told you it, but all right, let's go.
Yeah, I did, but because I like to hear, I like to have everyone prepared. But my number 1 hot take of the year, and this one's not so hot. I think Carson Wentz is going to finish in the top 12 at the quarterback position with the Washington Commanders. You know, he's not that far away. He was the quarterback 15 last year with minimum passing attempts. He only averaged 18 attempts per game. That's a career low, and he was only 2.7 points away from that top 12. That's it. That's what separated him. So honestly, this take isn't as hot as I thought it was going to be when I wrote it down.
But 2.7 points per game from a QB is not like
no. 2.7
that's
points.
a decent amount.
No. Period. Not per game.
On the year.
2.7 points?
Yes.
From 15 to 12?
That's what I wrote down. Less than 3 points away from the top 12.
First down, so it has to be true.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Hey, Marco, you got those 5 screens? Look it up. Carr was 12, and Wentz was right there at 15, and it's super close. Now he's going to an offense with McLaurin, this young rookie Dotson. Yes, they had Michael Pittman last year in Indianapolis, but guess what? Jonathan Taylor was stealing a lot of that production, especially in the red zone, right? Jonathan Taylor set records with his red zone touches. That's never going to happen again. Carson Wentz gets a lot of fantasy points on the ground in rushing and improvising and scoring these touchdowns. He didn't have the rushing touchdowns he had that he usually has. He usually gets about 5. Last year he had 1. So I just think that you're going to get him super late in drafts. People are going to go, oh, Carson Wentz. Oh, he's been on the Eagles. Oh, he sucks. Oh, he's terrible. Oh, guys, he only threw 4 or 5 interceptions last year. His problem was fumbling. He makes smart decisions. Give him a competent offense with Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick catching out of the background, and then you also give them McLaurin, Dotson. I think sky's the limit for this guy. I'm not saying he's going to be up there, but he's definitely going to be in that Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, 10 to 13 range, and he'll finish up there in the top 12.
Sky's the limit.
Easily. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's a little extreme.
Sky's the limit. Derek Carr.
React.
Dave, do you want to react?
Bella, brush your hair. I told Tim earlier, I don't know if it's like a hot take. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't rank him in my top 12, probably not even my top 15. But it's not like out of the realm of possibilities. So it's not like it's like one of those like screaming like, oh my God, wow, good luck with that. So I mean I don't like him. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that bad either. But we'll see. Yeah. It could happen.
Well, that's why it could happen. And you can get a huge think about Superflex. Think about your dynasty leagues where you have, in my situation, I have Mahomes in one of my leagues and I don't have a second quarterback. How cheap can I get Carson Wentz? And how cheap is that asset going to turn into a top 12 quarterback? I went from having Sam Darnold as my backup behind Mahomes in a super flex. Now I can have a solid guy who's going to put up 16 points a game. And he's going to be so undervalued because he has that stigma of just being trash.
Oh, he's way undervalued. I agree with that.
Like how?
But
like
I don't think he's going to reach top 12. But it could happen. It could happen.
Go ahead, Marco.
Let Marco talk.
He's undervalued. I mean, I completely agree with that. His ADP is too low for where he's ranking with the other QBs. But top 12, I mean, I'm just looking at it. You were right. He's not far. He was right there at 13, almost at 12. But I mean, that's with Russ behind him missing games, Lamar behind him missing games. It's not counting Trey Lance that we expect to make a huge jump, Justin Fields that we expect to make a huge jump. So I think he's being undervalued, but I think low end QB2 or mid QB2 is probably where we actually see him fall, like Dave said.
Now, who's expecting
agree.
Fields to make this huge jump up? Because I'm a huge Fields guy, but they've done nothing to pump him up.
He was trash last year. He's got to make a huge jump. I mean, he's got to. The offense is going to improve, and he's going to improve. That's a fact. Whether that puts him
How
into
they
top
have
12,
nobody.
well, regardless, they had nobody last year, and they were awful. My point is that offense was the worst ran offense you could. I mean, them and the Giants, like painful to watch. Truthfully, painful to watch either of them. They will be better. He will be better. Does that make him a top 12 QB?
I just
don't
don't
know. I doubt it.
I don't
'cause he
think
doesn't
Fields
have
is
weapons.
good. So
But he's gonna be
it doesn't
a
matter.
threat on the ground. So like you don't need weapons.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it doesn't matter. If they utilize him properly on the ground, he could be a fantasy QB1 without any weapons.
Guess we'll see.
That's so hard to do, though. That's so hard.
Now when
You
you're
got to
rushing
throw the ball
QB,
some, man. Even Lamar throws for 3,000 yards and 30
even Lamar,
touchdowns.
who gets MVP seasons and ends as QB1.
Okay,
I'm not saying
but
Fields is going to be
first of all,
QB1.
He rushes for that. Like it's not like even Hurts, who last year was like not that great, finished as like a low end QB1, I think, and that's because of mostly his rushing.
Right.
So Fields has to do that at least to get into the top 12, which I don't think he's that good. I mean, is it out of the range of possibilities? No. I just don't think he's that good. I don't think the Bears are that good.
I'm not even saying that Fields is a top 12 QB. I just think he'll be a high end QB2. In that range, in the range that
could happen.
Surpass Wentz, and
So
Wentz
you're telling
me, okay, and that's fair. So you're comparing him to Wentz. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, that's what the whole conversation is, right?
Yeah, you're telling me Fields over Wentz. This is what you're telling me. You're telling me you would take Fields over Wentz.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
No,
I just can't do that. I think Wentz is out easily. Come on, I bet you Wentz ends with more rushing touchdowns than Fields. I bet anything.
I don't know about that.
That's what that dude does. He doesn't have Jonathan Taylor anymore.
You just said he had one touchdown last year rushing.
Because Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, the
You're
point
not
is,
get rushing touchdowns if you have a guy like that.
He ran it in Philly when they ran the RPO like crazy. Like that's when he was getting all those rushing touchdowns. When he had Doug Peterson and they were fucking high flying that offense. Like it was actually pretty good. Like those couple of years. Ever since then, like he hasn't done great.
And nobody's gonna want to get him injured too. Like they're not gonna design plays for him to be.
Yeah, they don't. He's not the same as it used to be. But I mean, I don't know. Like I think he's a QB too. Like me and Marco said, mid QB too.
Mid QB too.
That's why it's a hot take, guys.
And that's why
Fair enough.
You're right. And I don't even like Fields, and I won't own him. But I would probably take him over Wentz just for like the upside. Like at that point, just going for upside. You know. So.
All right, Marco, give me your first hot take.
I'm up. All right, let me see what I wrote down here. All right, so my hot take is that Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is currently going wide receiver 25, and Allen Robinson, who is currently going wide receiver 29, will both outscore DK Metcalf, who is currently going wide receiver 17.
That is not a hot take to me. That is a given. That is a
it's not a given. No, it's not.
That's a will happen.
You know why it won't? Because Allen Robinson, you guys are sucking him off. He will not be as good as y'all think he is.
No. All right. So Dave, I'm gonna have to intervene here because the thing that I don't get about Allen Robinson, we are a year removed, not even a year removed from everyone in this pod right now and anybody we know agreeing that Allen Robinson is as good, if not better, of a receiver than Cooper Kupp. Sorry, that's how we all felt a year ago. If you say otherwise, you're lying. All right.
Okay.
The 2 seasons prior to last year, he was a top 10 wide receiver, and he had a top 10 wide receiver year earlier on in his career. We've said this entire time that this guy is an elite playmaker who just never had a good QB and had horrible offenses. And we just talked about 2 seconds ago with Justin Fields how the Bears offense last year was historically bad and just a horrifically ran offense. Nagy's an idiot, right? Like everybody knows this. So Allen Robinson is now on the best offense he's ever had, the best QB he's ever had, and a year ago we thought he was a better talent than Cooper Kupp. I'm sorry. He's undervalued like crazy. He could be a top 10 wide receiver this year, and it wouldn't be ridiculous at all.
Go ahead, Josh.
Everything he just said was what I was gonna say and what I've been saying all offseason. We all know
Okay.
he wanted out of Chicago last
Mhm.
year. They franchise tagged him. He said, "Okay, I'm here. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna make the best of it. I'm gonna collect a paycheck. I'm gonna sandbag, and the next year is gonna be freaking awesome."
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. And now he's with the Rams with Matthew Stafford, who's an elite Hall of Fame quarterback, with Cooper Kupp on the other side, with Van Jefferson, who's not a slouch out there as well. With that explosive, with Sean, you don't think Sean McVay made gimpy old Beckham look good? You don't think?
First of all, Beckham is better than Allen Robinson, so that's for one.
I don't even know if that's true. He's flashier than Allen Robinson, but
you.
Allen Robinson has had an extremely successful career with the worst carousel of QBs that any receiver
Okay.
has ever had to deal with.
Did you see what he did last? You talk about the Bears offense. Yes, it was bad. What did Darnell Mooney do? What did Darnell Mooney do? He had 1,000 yards in that offense. It's terrible.
A-Rob got
Allen
hurt.
Robinson looked like he didn't even want to be on the field.
He didn't want to
care.
be on the
He didn't
field.
want to be on the
Quit.
field. That's the
That's
thing.
the point. You want to
Yeah.
you want to rely on a guy that just quit on his team?
Yeah, who now was paid to join a different team that he wants
mean-
to be on? Yeah.
You mean like
I do.
Stephon Diggs? You mean like every receiver
He
ever?
didn't quit. He didn't
Oh,
quit
yeah.
on his team.
He pretty much quit running routes in Minnesota, and they traded him. Now,
When?
he always does,
He-
Dave. And I bring it up every time. And when he quits
Oh
running
my
the same route,
God.
I go, "Did you guys see him quit on that route?" And you go, "Where?"
Okay.
I show you the
Randy
replay.
Moss quit on a route, and when the ball was on the other side of the field, that shit happens to everybody. You're right.
I'm not
Allen
trying to say
Robinson was
Moss.
awful. It's completely
Dave, he didn't
different.
even play the middle of the season. He got hurt and had a hamstring strain and was out for
Listen,
multiple games.
If you
What do you
guys want to
mean?
trust in him, that's fine. And I'm not saying he won't be decent. I think he'll be. If first of all, he's at an age to where guys start to go downhill. He
He's
had
at
an
28.
injury.
It's the prime of a wide receiver's career is 28. Come
Eh,
on.
then
29 to 30. 30 is when we start to see them drop.
okay. Could he be great? Yes, he could be great. I'm just not gonna rely on it. And I'm not even talking about this. I'm talking about I think DK is better than Allen Robinson. And I definitely think he's better than Amon St. Brown. But I don't think this is a crazy take because DK has shitty QBs now, and who knows what's gonna happen. So that's why I don't think in general it's a terrible take. So I
DK
will say it's not like crazy hot.
DK was my regression candidate last year. Going into the season, you guys remember how much I hated that guy
I was
and how
with you.
inconsistent he was, and how
Yeah.
just up and down, and he gave you more bad weeks than good. That was with Russ. Now you got Drew Lock, who couldn't make Sutton look good, he can't make Judy look good, he can't make anyone look good. Geno Smith, what has he proven? This is more of a quarterback situation, which we all know, than a DK situation. If DK gets traded to, which he's not anymore, but if he got traded to Aaron Rodgers or any other team that needs a receiver, he'd be probably my top 5 receiver. He would. But the fact is, he's in an offense that's going to be running first with Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker. He's going to be in an offense where Drew Lock has no idea what's happening, and Geno Smith is your backup. And it's just not going to be good. It's just not going to be good for DK this year. I'm staying away from DK.
I probably won't own him too many off.
Wide receiver 17 seems insane. I told you this morning that I think he could end up being a wide receiver 3 at best.
So
And that's crazy.
my original take. So the reason I made this my take is because I thought, I like A-Rob as a top 10 wide receiver as a hot take. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown as a top 10 wide receiver as a hot take. And I also thought I like DK as not even a wide receiver 2 as a hot take. Because real quick, he was wide receiver 13 last year, which is what most people are going to look at. But of course, that had Russ. He was actually wide receiver 23 in points per game. He just didn't miss any time. So comparing to all the guys who everybody misses usually one fucking game here or there, he got shot up the board from 23 to 13 based on that. But it's all, if you look at how he scores his points, 3rd most deep targets last year, 11th most red zone targets, 12 touchdowns, which was 5th most in the league. He doesn't make yards after the catch, only 27th in yards after the catch, which is not elite, right? It's good, but not elite. Having a poor QB is not the type of wide receiver he is. I'm sorry. He's not going to be able to play and be successful in fantasy if he's not getting those deep targets, those accurate deep targets to open him up down the field.
I don't disagree with any of that stuff.
Can we talk about how we didn't even mention how we're not even questioning Amon-Ra St. Brown? Like
Dude,
we just went
so
straight to Allen
undervalued.
Robinson. We just went straight to Allen Robinson and forgot about the hottest take is actually Amon-Ra passing DK because I think it
I
will
think that's the
happen.
hottest one. I don't trust. I'll be honest, I don't know what to think of Amon Ra. They'll get Hawkinson back. I know he missed a lot of time. You got Jameson Williams who will be back eventually. I'm not sure when. I don't know if he's the number one receiver like in the league. I think he's maybe a good number two. But if he's forcing a number one, he did great last year. We'll see. I don't know. I don't really know. I probably won't own him because I don't know what to think of him. Like he could be awesome. He could be meh. Like he's in Detroit. Like I don't know. If he beats out DK, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I think it's the worst, the craziest thing in the world. I wouldn't bet on it, but it's okay. It could happen.
I think he's crazy I mean, my little spiel for him, he's wide receiver 25 right now. He was wide receiver 24 last year in his rookie season when he had a horrible start, not a horrible start, but just a slow rookie start where he wasn't heavily targeted at all. Weeks 13 to 18 or weeks 13 to
He was
17.
amazing.
He was only behind Cooper Kupp in fantasy.
Yeah,
And then
he was.
add week
But
18.
that's the thing is like think about that. Like those numbers were like outrageous, right? Like outrageous.
100%.
Cooper Kupp numbers.
100%.
And that's why I'm like, if you're expecting that, I think you're gonna be highly disappointed. That's probably my like disconnect. Is
But
like I don't think he's gonna be
nobody's
that
expecting it.
good.
He's going wide receiver 25. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
he was wide
that's
receiver
the
2,
high end wide
only
receiver 3.
behind Kupp's insane numbers, like you said, right? It's the same thing I've said this for other guys in the past who have gone parabolic, like David Montgomery, who had his parabolic few weeks 2 years ago. You can expect regression, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be this monster regression that he's going to go from the wide receiver 2 down to a wide receiver 3. Like he can be the wide receiver 12 and have very realistic numbers doing that with Jameson Williams and TJ Hawkinson back.
It could happen. You're right. You're right.
There you go. I
Exactly.
love those takes. But let's go to my number 2 hot take. This one, I haven't seen anyone as high as Hollywood Brown as me ever. I have him in my top 10. I have him number 8 overall wide receiver on my rankings right now. And of
8?
course, yeah, you saw that. I posted it and you questioned me about it. I had him as my
No,
wide receiver 8.
Dude, 8 overall?
Yeah, I had him as my wide receiver 8 overall.
Maybe I
Yes,
just
I
wasn't
did.
paying attention. I must have missed that.
No, you said something about it, and I said,
Or maybe I just forgot.
I'll explain later.
Okay.
And then, of course, he gets arrested today. And every time we do a podcast, one of my players. Last week it was Tom Brady getting all these players. This week it's Hollywood Brown. Whatever. But let's just imagine the arrest never happened and he plays a full season. I think Hollywood
He
Marquise
will.
Brown. I know he will lead the league in targets. Will lead the league in targets. Now, can any of you tell me how many targets he had last year? Can anyone?
138.
That's what you have?
I think so, right?
It's 146.
Oh, mine doesn't count week 18. Doesn't count. It's not fantasy. Keep going.
Whatever. So then, you know what? All those percentages you just did for DK, you can't count them because
Fair
those
enough.
percentages counted week 18. So that's a lot of targets.
That's a lot.
And I bet you didn't know, Dave. I bet you had
I
no
didn't know it
idea.
was that high. No, I didn't.
When you catch 90 plus balls, you're going to get a bunch of targets. And that's exactly what happened last year. He was 9th in targets last year. So it's not as crazy as you think. You have Hopkins out for 6 weeks. You have Kyler and Hollywood reuniting. They don't really have anyone else. I mean, you're going to pepper Ertz with a bunch of targets in the beginning of the year. No, I think a lot of the front end work is going to, like weeks 1 through 6. That's going to be where he makes his bread and butter. And then after that, all you need is like 6-7 targets a game because you'll have Hopkins back. He's proved he can do it. 91 catches last year, right? Like you didn't expect that from Hollywood ever, but he did it. And that's without Lamar. That was with a backup quarterback for the majority of the year.
That was with a more accurate quarterback. That's what you're saying.
But is Kyler a step up? Is Kyler a step up from Lamar's accuracy?
I think so. Yeah, I think he is.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that
I get that.
there. Hollywood wanted out of Baltimore. He wanted to go to Arizona. I mean, just look at that cushion rate. He's number 3. He's number 3 overall in average cushion. He gets open, especially against man coverage. He's fast as crap. Fast as crap. And I just think that they just need to get him the ball in open space, let him perform. be the fantasy stud that he can be, which we proved last year he is that guy. I don't 170 targets. Why not? Why not? Is it because he's tiny? Is it because you have that stigma that he'll get hurt just because of his rookie year? Other than
No.
his rookie year, what did he really miss? He hasn't really missed many games. He's been a solid receiver. We saw year 2, he was doing those slants. He was doing curls. He was taking the ball over the middle. He was doing that already. And then last year, he just went above and beyond and kind of broke out, but nobody really realized it.
Yeah, I wanted to come and shit on your hot take. I wanted to shit on at least one of them, but I didn't. I like it. It's a good hot. I mean, for a hot take, it's a good hot take. Now, the only thing is, logically, like, is there a reason I can think of as to why not? No, you're right. I can't think of one, which is why it's possible and it's a good hot take. Logically, is there a reason I could think of as to why he's going to increase in targets over what he did in Baltimore? Like, no, I really can't either. It's not like they have even less options than Baltimore did. Like, they didn't have anything over there either, and he was their main target. So I don't know how that's going to translate. I mean, they are more pass happy offense, I guess, but that's other than that, like, I don't see an exact reason, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. There's
I feel
nothing
like
insane.
Arizona's run game, and we can both agree on this, Arizona's run game is short passing.
Mhm.
As in, they'll try to short pass it to Hollywood, see what he can do. They'll short pass it to Rondale.
Yeah.
That's their running game. That's because James Conner averages 3.7 yards per carry, and he's not that good at fantasy, or he's not that good at football. I just think it's going to happen. Well, top eight, and I'm going to be the only one gloating, and no one's going to realize that I had
Top
him
8
at
in
high.
targets or just
The top eight in fantasy
in
overall.
fantasy?
That's what I had him at. But
I
number one
like
in
the
targets.
top 8. I honestly like the top 8. I could see that happening.
I'm
It's just
so high
okay.
on Hollywood.
All right. Listen. Let me shit on you real quick. Since Marco won't do it, I'll do it. Okay. I really do like Hollywood Brown. I like him a lot. This is why he won't. There's 2 reasons why he won't. And it's not because of him. It has nothing to do with him. Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson. They're too good. They're dominant. They're gonna get so many targets. It's ridiculous. That's why in Hollywood Brown, even though he is really, really good, he's not that kind of guy that command those kind of targets yet. When Hopkins comes back, he will command targets. Overall, like that's the reason. Now, it's a spicy take, it's a hot take, all that. That's cool, but it won't happen. I will say there's 0% chance of it happening because of Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and the fact that once Hopkins is back, Brown isn't like an alpha guy. Doesn't mean he can't be really, really good for fantasy. That's what I'm saying. He's not the guy that you have to force feed the ball like those other guys. That's why he won't do it. But I like him a lot, and I think he's going to be great. But I don't. That's why. If you want to say is he going to lead in targets, I say there's no chance because of those reasons that I mentioned.
I think Hopkins is the biggest reason. I mean, Dave, you're right on point. Like, if Hopkins was gone all year, okay, like,
yeah,
then I'd say, oh,
that might true.
Maybe there's a chance, but it'll be tough, like, because of Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams. Like, it's going to be tough, but maybe. But, like, with Hopkins there for, 2/3 of the year, I just can't see it. I mean, I'm not saying that he has to play second fiddle to Hopkins, but Hopkins is going to eat. Like, there's no doubt that Hopkins is going to eat. And if he's eating, then I don't see how Hollywood could be on pace for, record setting, unless that offense just becomes the most pass happy offense in the league. It's possible.
Hey, Dave, stop messing with Skittles. Jansport. I know you're watching, John. He's eating all your Skittles. All right, Marco, give me your second hot take of this evening.
Yeah. All right. So my second one, I didn't get to look up my stats for this one. I wanted to look up more stats, and I would have defended this to death. But I originally was going to say Joe Mixon RB1 overall, and Josh said that's.
Oh, you changed it?
That's Luke.
That's not hot at all. I was going to say that's terrible.
Which is fair.
Finished as the RB4 last year. Yeah.
So yeah, but he's going RB7. All right.
I know. I'm just saying, I liked it. I love Mixon.
Instead, my hot take is the RB1 and RB2 in some order will be Joe Mixon and Saquon Barkley. Boom.
Oh, that's spicy.
Mic
hot
drop.
Because of Saquon. Because I love Mixon and I'm okay with it. He's in a great offense and all that stuff. Saquon?
It'd be tough.
That's whoo, okay.
Listen, I don't want to get on my Saquon high horse because Josh and I could have an entire episode, and quite frankly, should have an entire episode dedicated to debating Saquon. But
You know what?
If you can just logically for a second understand that the fucking guy tore his ACL and realize what that means in a year returning back from a torn ACL, and you take away those 2 seasons, the guy has been nothing but elite on shitty offense. And now I, as a Giants fan, am very excited about this new coaching staff and what they're bringing and the offensive plans. And I do think that with that change, Saquon can go right back to being elite again. And all you got to do is take away a year that he tore his ACL and his first year back after a tear from an ACL. And that's it.
Okay, so you're telling me you would take Saquon like top 5 overall?
Whoa. A hot take is a hot take. I'm not saying to take him top 5. Do I think he can end top 5? Yes.
Okay. You know what? I'm okay with that because do I think he could? Do I think that if everything goes right, yes, he could because he is that good. He's that talented. For sure, he could do that. Do I think it's going to happen and I'm tired of his ass because he's been a bitch for the last 2 years and I keep taking him every freaking year? Yes. So that
but you know you're going to take him this year too. You know exactly that it's true.
I'm not taking him in the first round, not even at all.
No, but that's the thing. His ADP is RB 14 right now, Dave. He's not even a first round. If it was all running backs, he's not even the first round. Right, so I know I'm gonna have him. He's gonna be a late round second in all, or an early third in all drafts. He's gonna be on every fucking team I have because he has the ability. Not every running back has the ability, but he has the ability to end RB1 overall. And
so
less
he's
than
going
10
what,
running backs.
Late second, early third. Yeah, that's about right. We were talking about Kamara. That's about where he's going too. So
yeah,
that's
right
fair.
next to him. Yep.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna take Kamara. If Kamara misses 6 games. I don't think
he's
will,
not.
But if he does,
he's not.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I would still take.
I would still
you're
take
a fucking
Kamara.
idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
I would still take Kamara.
You're a fucking idiot.
I'm
sorry.
Take Kamara.
You're an idiot.
Listen,
at least Kamara produces.
I can see why Josh would say that. I can see why. Listen, I'm okay. I'm okay with him saying that. I don't know who. I'll be honest. I would have probably flip a coin between those 2 right now. And I've been probably like I know you're a Giants fan, so you love him, but I took him in 3 first rounds last year. I've been all in on Saquon literally his entire career. And I'm just like, dude, can you please stay healthy for once? Like I know like if he gets healthy, if I knew he was going to play 15 games out of the 17 at least, he's probably a first round pick.
Listen,
but I don't know that he's going to do that again.
He has not burnt us any worse than any other running back has. All right.
Well,
plenty of running backs have done the same, gotten hurt, and then kept going. And I'll say listen, we just sat here 10 minutes ago, and all of us to each other's faces said that we would take Christian McCaffrey, even with all his injury shit, 1-1. And now the conversation is not would you take Saquon? Yeah, there is a difference, which is why the conversation is not would you take Saquon 1-1, which I wouldn't. I'm not saying I would.
Yeah.
The conversation is would you take him in the early second to make sure you get him, and can he end RB1? If you would take CMC 1-1, then the answer is yes to the other one as well. They've had the same fucking shit.
Okay.
Well, hold on.
This is why I would wait. This is why I wouldn't take him at the top of the second. I probably wouldn't touch him until end of the second because at the end of the first, and I mean like towards the top of the second, in the middle of the second, there's a lot of really good receivers and even some really, really strong, solid, low risk running backs that are going to give you points.
Low risk.
Once you get to the second.
Is the key, right? So, like, let me give you an example.
But you're gonna get like DeAndre Swift. Like, I'm taking Swift over.
Swift
Saquon,
is high upside.
and I love Saquon, but I'm gonna take Swift. I'm taking Mixon, Najee. Like, there's probably 10 to 12 guys I'm taking over Saquon.
So are you taking Javonte?
No, because he's in his timeshare.
Right?
No.
Are you taking Nick Chubb?
Yes.
I'm not.
Maybe.
Nick Chubb has proven that he has a capped ceiling. He is not involved.
He doesn't catch passes, but he still finishes as like a top 10 running back. Think about
top 10, but that's his ceiling. He's just a consistent.
But that's fine.
If that's your style, if you want to go for just that consistent guy, fine. I'm not saying he's useless.
Listen,
but
I want that one's close. Overall. That's close. That you're okay. Yeah, I don't think Chubb has any chance of finishing RB1 overall.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, after that.
All I'm saying is I'm not touching him at the top of the second. I would start to consider him at the end of the second round, depending on who's there. If a receiver, somebody fell to me, maybe. If one of those running backs that I really like fell to me, okay. If not, then yeah, he's in my thought process.
One thing I want to add before we move on, because we have to move on. We have a lot of questions to get to, and we are running close to it. But The difference between CMC and Barkley, you would take him 1-1 here. Here's the difference. When CMC plays, he scores 30.
Oh
Saquon,
my God.
CMC's
It's
never
true.
scored.
It is true.
CMC,
It is true.
CMC's never scored
There
3
we
points
go.
in a full game. Guess what? Saquon has many times. Saquon has scored 3 points in a PPR
Listen.
league a few times. CMC
But
that's
things
never
CMC
done.
didn't tear his
I get
ACL.
it. Okay,
Different
we're done with
teams,
this.
different
We're done.
coaches, everything.
We're done.
Like I
I've
said,
had
an entire
I cannot
episode.
wait. I cannot
entire
wait for
episode.
3 more years or 2 more years till we don't have to fucking talk about this anymore. But it's
We'll
over.
have 2 new guys to talk about. It doesn't
Yes,
This
we
will,
will.
be, this will be my favorite "I told you so" ever to Josh. I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited.
Hey, it'll be your first one too. We have some questions to get through. We're gonna run through them really quick. This one's from It's Davey OUS. I've never heard of that guy before. He's new to the show. Who are your dynasty win now trade targets? Guys with low overall dynasty appeal that could go for cheap and help you win this year. Give me a few names. That's from Davey OUS on Twitter.
I got one for sure that I know of. There's probably a few more that I can't think of right now. But my first thought was someone like Thielen, older, who I think is going to have a really, really good year this year. Anybody that's like one of those older 30-year-old running backs, receivers, I would say Julio, but I don't think that. Like last year, who had been Julio? Thielen was just one that popped off, and I didn't take the time to like research that, so I don't have any more names, but he was one guy I would think about. Someone like Brady, Rodgers, if you need a quarterback, if you're looking at Superflex League, go for the older guys like those guys, stuff like that. Same thing with like the tight end
Cooks.
position.
Brandon
It's a good
Cooks,
one.
easily.
I think
Easily.
that people have caught on to Brandon Cooks, especially in the Twitter world where
They've caught
everyone.
on from not value him at all to still undervaluing him. That's what it is.
I'm still gonna go Wentz in a Superflex league. You can get him. You probably get wins for nickels. You probably could.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
That's fine. I like that. I don't hate that.
One guy whose value I just like right now, even though he's not on the older side, is Juju. Worth the risk in terms of value. If he pans out on the Chiefs with how young he is and becomes Mahomes' number 1 guy, he's worth the price that he's at right now, easily.
All right, next question from Instagram from Craft Beer Loyal. Which stack would you prefer in redraft this year? Carr and Adams or Cousins and Justin Jefferson?
Dave's got an obvious answer, so there's
Yeah,
no reason to even ask Dave.
no point.
But honestly, I was like, oh, easy, Cousins, JJ, like no doubt. And then I thought about it for a second. I actually think I would go with Carr Adams. I really think Adams just continues to dominate the league, and Carr just peppers him with targets.
I'm gonna go with Cousins and JJ, and here's a single reason why. Yes, there's Thielen, but it's Cousins and JJ. With Carr, you got to worry about Waller. You got to worry about Renfro. You got to worry about just all that nonsense. Whereas we know JJ is getting his balls. He's getting his targets, and I think he's the number 1 receiver overall. I think he's the best receiver in all of football. I know, Dave, you know you think the same. So I'm taking that number 1 guy in all of football, and plus a very good quarterback in Kirk Cousins that people underrate. And me and Dave have been on this guy's balls forever. So that's my answer.
I like them both, but I would of course take my guys. Yeah, JJ and Cousins.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. This one from Microsoft Teams from work, Blake Sparkman, my dude. He wants to know which receiver has a potential to be the next Debo. We all want to know that. We all want to know.
I was gonna say I don't know if you can. Those guys you can't predict them.
There's not.
That's like nobody's. First of all, nobody saw Debo coming out like that. It's so hard to predict the guy making the jump from like he was hurt the year before. Like he was going so late in drafts to literally was he top 3 or 5 last year. That's just an impossible question. I think. I don't know.
I think he meant out of nowhere, not like the rushing and the dual threat, just out of nowhere. Who's going to surprise?
I kind of am gonna go with all of it. Like, and it's again my homerism, whatever for the Giants.
Don't say it.
Tony has the ability. Listen, the whole point of this question is that the answer is not gonna make sense, right?
Okay, you're right. I'll give you that.
If the answer was obvious, it wouldn't be the answer, right? But Tony has the ability to be involved more in the offense in different ways, the same way Debo is. He's a guy that was drafted highly from his team and didn't really do much in the first year for whatever reasons, right? Although he looked very good. It's just the offense was, again, horrific. I expect the offense to shoot up like crazy, and there's not really competition for targets. So, am I saying you should overdraft Tony? No, but am I saying does he have the pieces to actually become that? Yeah, I mean you can't really
All
deny
right,
that.
I like it. I don't hate it. That's fair. I like it.
Thanks,
Um,
Dave.
I will say one of the bust what was the other was the part of the bust? Who was going to be a biggest bust?
Yeah, I was gonna skip all that stuff because we have a lot more questions. But we can
Oh,
go.
okay. All right, go ahead. I was going to throw out like possibly like someone like DK that we talked about. Like, there's a chance that he's terrible this year. Like, it could happen.
We already talked
That's
about
why I
that.
probably won't own him at all.
I
All
sure
right.
as hell believe that.
This one's from Alan, from a DM. He wants to know 0 running back strategy, and is it smart to take a wide receiver in the top 5?
In a redraft, yes, you can take a. There's probably 3 that I would take in the top 5. 0 running back strategy. I don't. Again, people that go in with these strategies, that's just not my style. I don't think it's smart, especially when you're like, I'm going 0 running backs. It's one of the most important positions, and yes, I know there's a lot of turnover, and yes, I know there's a lot of injuries, but to plan for that, you have to get extremely lucky in nailing all of your late round running back picks. You have to get extremely lucky off the waiver wire. And can I say it? Am I going to say that it doesn't work? No, because any strategy can work if you get lucky. Like, it happens every year. This guy I could take 0 running receivers and then get lucky. Like, it happens. In general, I don't think it's a smart plan. I've always said this: take the best player available, and then make your roster moves and go about that way. I think if you're going in planning on skipping on running backs, which is one of the most hard to get positions, I just think you have to get really, really lucky a lot. Again, as far as your late round picks, you have to nail them all, and then you have to fight everybody else in your league for the waiver wire guys. Last year, Eli Mitchell went for like $100 in every league, right? After week 1. Like, you have to have the lowest amount of points after week 1 to get this guy, to spend all your fab. And again, it's just a lot of good luck. So that's just me. I don't personally like it, but it works for some people. I just wouldn't do it.
I like 0 running back for dynasty if you're gonna load up on receivers and then
That's a different question, but that's fair. Yeah.
But the redraft, I don't. Yeah, I like the idea of using a top 5 pick on a wide receiver, but I would just then round 2 and 3, like I'm getting Aaron Jones and Saquon Barkley, like easily, like 2 of those guys right out the gate. Make sure I'm just securing my running back position. You need to run at least 1 running back in the first 3 rounds. You can't do 0 running back.
I think it's extremely idiotic to go into any draft with a clean slate and say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
it's idiotic.
That's what I said. Yeah.
I think it's irresponsible because it forces you to do things that you shouldn't do. If you want to go 0 running back, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but make sure you're not passing up. Use tiers, right? Like, use tier-based drafting. Don't go, well, I'm going to get this wide receiver 3 here, but there's a better running back or whatever it may be. Just draft in tiers. Don't draft in positions, if that makes sense, because yes, receivers touch the ball less, yes, they're injured less, but at the end of the day, you're really going to draft a Chris Godwin over a guy like David Montgomery. I'd rather have Montgomery for me. You guys might not, but a guy who's going to touch the ball and give you average points, because there's a lot of Godwins out there. You can get guys off the waiver wire. Amon-Ra came out of nowhere. Like, these guys come out of nowhere and they don't get hurt. Running backs, when they come out of nowhere, you better have your fab or you're not getting them. So
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so hard.
I know. It's very difficult. One question from Pete. He wants to know about the Green Bay situation. Running backs, a lot of hype about Romeo Doubs in Green Bay this year. What's the ceiling? Do you know about him? Do you even know who he is, Marco? You're so
you said running backs, and he's a wide receiver, so I think I know who he is.
I meant to say wide receiver.
Listen, there's no predicting this. I like Christian Watson a lot.
You just had knee surgery, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just throwing out which receiver I like the most, but there's no fucking predicting it. There's no possible way, and the fact that Aaron Rodgers is as good as he is means that it could be fucking anybody. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't need to be the actual guy who was drafted to be the guy. It doesn't need to be the guy that we think is the most talented. It's just whoever the fuck Aaron Rodgers decides it is.
It's who Rodgers trusts. I had a lot of opinions on this guy because I saw him at the Senior Bowl, and I know, it's just practice. Like, what are you going to get out of that, right? But this guy can't. At least what I saw for those 2 days I was there watching him specifically, he's super fast. He was by far one of the fastest players on the field. He can't make a cut. He can't catch the ball. He doesn't take direction well. He was not looking at coaches in the eye. I just some things I noticed. I didn't like him as a player. When he went to Green Bay, I was like, really? That's he's gonna be cut. I
What
just didn't
round was he
like.
drafted in?
I couldn't even tell you. He was so far off my radar because of the Senior Bowl and the practices. He just wasn't. He was an elite athlete. Like he's fast and he's explosive, but holy shit! Like he looked like he didn't want to be there, didn't care. That's the only exposure I have of him. I think Rodgers cares more about Lazard and these other guys, and I don't think Romeo is going to be. He's going to be Terrace Marshall. He's going to be Terrace Marshall.
You don't draft him in. I wouldn't draft him in a redraft league. Maybe in the last round as like a dart throw, but I don't. Again, this is that preseason, off-season hype. Like I'm not getting into that right now. Like Rodgers in general doesn't really do well with rookies. I don't really want any of the Packers receivers just because I don't think any of them are that good to command the targets. Somebody is somehow going to get the targets. I'm not trying to predict that. Maybe it's Watson. If he's supposed to be healthy by the season start. So I don't really know. We'll see. But I'm not like Dobbs, whatever his name is. He doesn't do anything for me.
All right, last question coming out of the DMs. Jansport, John Allport wants to know if I don't have any idea what's going on and I have 2 drafts coming up, what's the quickest study guide to get me ready?
This show.
US.
Listen to me. Yeah.
Damn it. I was expecting you guys to go here, go there, and I was going to finish up with questions. It's easy. You just follow us every single week. This was going to be my closer. Follow us here, follow us there. God damn it.
Give your spiel. Give your spiel, Josh. Here, we'll do it. You should go to Fantasy Pros and look at Fantasy Pros and listen to that stuff.
Yeah, you should go here.
Go listen to everyone else. No, you listen to us.
Here's what I would do if there was no us. Seriously. Here's what I used to do without us. I would look at players I like. I would do a lot of best ball draft, not mocks. I would go on Underdog Fantasy or on one of these, whatever platform you want to use, and I would start drafting best balls that actually matter, where people aren't going to just take players who they want. I feel like that really helps me find out what works and what doesn't work. If I take Pitts here, I know it's best ball. It's going to be a little bit different, but at least gives you somewhat of an idea. And these underdog drafts are super cheap. They're $3, right? You can draft a whole team for $3 and it's like a cheap mock. That's what I do. I know Dave's not a big underdog guy. Marco, I don't think you can even.
I've done a few.
But
No,
I just
haven't joined enough.
I'm not prepping for a league with best ball drafts because they're not the same.
Not
right?
prepping. I didn't mean prepping. I mean you just get a rough idea of what
you
can get and where players are going. It's better than a mock in my opinion because mocks.
Yeah.
You got idiots like me. Oh, I'm taking Minshew one or whatever it may be. You get a bunch of idiots,
it's the closest thing to a real mock that you can get. I'll give you that. Yeah. Unless you're actually just going to mock with real friends, but that's not a thing. So
that's never a thing. But that's the close. If we weren't around, that's what I would do. Now, before we go, I want to give Marco the trivia real quick. I want to see if he can get it.
Let's go.
Let's see it.
This is really easy. If Dave can get it, you're gonna get it.
Oh, if Dave
I got on the second hint clue.
Now I'm gonna panic if I don't get it. All right, let's see.
No, it's really easy.
I
did a layup. All right. First
Stop, you're in
clue.
my head.
First clue. I never finished outside the top 10 at my position in fantasy football.
Never finished outside the top 10. Justin Jefferson.
Ooh.
Close. No, that's good. No. I'm going to give a different clue because this second one's too easy. I am 15 and 17 as a starter.
15 and 17 as a starter?
Yeah, that's all I'm going to give you.
You got it after this one, Dave?
No, he gave me a different clue.
Okay, I was going to say, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, but I had a feeling it was a quarterback already, and I might have still got it after this one. I might have. That's the truth because of what I know now, but I think I might have had a clue on it. I don't know for sure.
15 and 17 as a starter. I can't even think of who's a fucking second year. All right. Next hint.
I had the most fantasy points by a quarterback in the first 2 seasons ever with 713.6, passing Cam Newton, who had 693.8.
Lamar
This
Jackson.
is easy. Wow, you're wrong.
Josh Allen. Am I wrong? What am I?
Yeah, you're
Where
wrong.
am I?
You're wrong.
QB's not my position, guys.
And
Which
this
one
one should
Give me a
give it
layup
away.
hint.
This one should give away. I was the
All
first true fresh. We didn't even get to this one. I was the first true freshman to start for the Oregon Ducks since 1983.
Oh, Mariota.
Clearly Mariota.
Oh
And my
God,
last clue is
wow, okay, Herbie. I
my
should have
hair
gotten
is
that.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
should have
Herbie.
got
Yes.
Herbie. All right.
You know, I was
that's
surprised by
fucking
the 15 and 17. I guess. Once
No,
the
I knew
Charger,
that.
always
stupid.
Charger.
I should have.
I
the
honestly
15,
think I might
17
have got that because they've been around 500 both years. So
What was the third?
I
hit?
would.
I had the
That's the
most
one I got it
fantasy.
at.
I had the most fantasy points by quarterback in the first 2
I knew
seasons.
it.
Was
No, that was your
713
fourth. That was the
points.
fourth hint, right?
No, that was the
No,
third.
that was my second one. I got it after that one.
Yeah, I changed it up
Okay,
because
so
that
I
was
got-
too easy. That gave it away.
Oh, I didn't get it after that one, did I? Fuck.
No.
Wow, that was bad.
You got it after the
My worst
Ducks.
trivia yet. Yeah.
It's all right.
Well,
all
it's good. I got it eventually. You
Eventually.
just had to just tell me his name. My name starts with her and ends
I was
with
gonna say
her.
his name is Justin H.
When you said Justin Jefferson, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" The
I
first
know.
one.
Oh,
Did you
man.
get it?
Well, I thought it wasn't a QB. Hit first.
Uh,
That was
hey,
a
but
good
that's
one.
gonna wrap it up, man. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we are going to be doing our guys, as in our favorite guys going into the season. We're not going to call it anything because some guys call it my guys, whatever, yada yada. Our favorite guys at each position.
Call
We're
it
going to
our
do
guys.
one. We should do it, our guys. We should do it. We should do something called my guys. I don't think that's ever been done. The other guys.
Good idea.
Can we do the other guys?
The other
We
guys.
actually-
And
Get
just do
it?
Will
Get it? 'Cause
Ferrell
we're
and
the-
Mark Wahlberg shit.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, by the way. Great movie.
Great movie.
We're gonna do the other guys next week, where we pick each other's. Mark, are you in for next week? Can I pencil you in?
Yeah, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Yeah, let me fly. I love it. That movie's so underrated.
It really is. All
Dirty
right,
Mike
follow
and the
us
boys. Who doesn't love us guys?
on-
Thanks for what was it like?
Oh,
Thanks
so
for the
good.
fuck Jack or something like that. Dirty Mike and the boys.
He's like, we will have sex in your car. Dude, that shit is that's classic. That
Oh,
part's
great.
classic.
Great movie.
All right,
it's
follow us
amazing.
on
It's so
Twitter.
underrated. So-
I'm about to kick this fucking guy. Don't you have another podcast to do in like 15 minutes? Follow
yeah,
us
I
on
do.
Twitter, Josh Campbell LUS at Viking David 18. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, all that fun stuff. If you're still here, which I know some of you are, I see the numbers. Throw a like on this freaking video, man. We only have a little bit of likes, guys. You have way more than that. What do the YouTubers say? Like, what does Logan Paul say? Like and
Like
subscribe.
and subscribe.
Turn on the alerts.
Subscribe, follow, save, share
Put
your
a-
link with your friends.
There you go.
There you
All
go.
that stuff. All right, guys. Until next week, we'll see you later.
See
Don't worry, hey,
ya.
you know.